Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone is doing well. Oh, what are we going to talk about tonight? We've got a lot of things to talk about, or this morning, depending on when you're listening to me. Ha ha ha. So, we got a lot of action going on over in Ukrizzle and Ruski Land. And actually, the drone wars are going on all over the place. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Obama opening up his big cement dumpster-looking thing and a lot of other stuff. But what do I do? What do I do while people come in, settle into the chats? I play videos. I play videos to give people time to get themselves a cup of coffee, a cold brouhaha, or an adult beverage of their choice. And then we will, as always, be like butter and get on a roll.
Corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. And that reminds me a lot of you're either a white supremacist or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much interference here as you could possibly imagine. Before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky. Slava Ukraina. The puppet who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the president of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the president of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
You want to play games? Okay. Come on. Okay. You want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm they're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
activities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time. He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies. Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm glad you're here with me. What is the purpose of my thumbnail this evening? Operation Overwatch, foreign and domestic. Oh, I didn't get a clip of Trump during his press conference where he discussed our ability to see things from the sky. I'll talk about that after I say hi to everybody that's come in to see me tonight. Who's come in tonight to see me? Todd's here. Tammy's here. Sissy's here. Tammy's with the younger gang. Todd's just with Todd. Sissy, Linda. Nice to see you, Mac. All right, Elva's here. Good to see you all. Good to see you. Coming in. All my lurkers are out there. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you. Yeah, I always say hi to my lurkers. I know you're out there. Rebecca's there. Wayne's there giving me a thumbs up. And I didn't see you the other night, Wayne. I thanked you for that coffee last week. Ending up the week with a buy me a coffee. I do appreciate it. Kim's here. Oh, you can't stay long? Well, you can always, you can stay as long as you want. And then listen to the replay. Just remember to give me a thumbs up like Linda's going to do. Right, Linda? Ha, ha, ha. All right, let's see. That helps the video get around. Helps, and if anybody out there is on the other side of the fence or sitting on top of the fence, stick with me for a little bit, you know. Flannel Cheese, how you doing? Darla, how are you? Don't stay in a bubble, a what do they call blue sky bubble? If you're a liberal out there. Nice to see you. Sherry's here. Let's see. Who else is here? All right. Rubber Toe, nice to see you. Miss Mendersu is here. All right, let me see. Who else is in here? I want to make sure if I miss anybody, I don't mean to do it. I don't mean to miss people. All right. I was looking. Oh, well, okay. They'll pop in. Ha ha. But anyway, did you all see Trump's press conference when he was at G7? Now, Iran has signed a deal. I got a picture of them signing it. We got a letter from the cardboard mullahs, purportedly, all those orderlies, that they signed it. He gave his blessing, if you can call it that. So anyway, Trump said we have the ability to read people's name tags from outer space. He said it usually starts with Mohammed. 9 times out of 10. We can get their name on their name tags. We know when they're going in and out of places, and we're keeping a sharp eye on them. And that made me also think, with this reflecting pool, I'm not being petty. I understand that we're dealing with very petty people who would go around and sabotage things Trump is trying to beautify, because you see it every day in Midas Trash Network and all the other garbage, that garbage sites that are feeding the show. There's Pappy Two Bears. How are you? Nice to see you. That are feeding the crazies. I'll just call them the crazies. They would love to throw paint on something or mock Trump somehow. They did live streams to see his name getting taken down, and thousands of people sitting on a live stream. But the board for the Kennedy Center pulled a fast one on them. They made them cover the scaffold with tarps and cover the name with tarps, so they couldn't see anything during their live stream but tarps. While they're going along with this corrupt judge's order. And I say that not in a flippant way, not in a childish, insulting way. I say it because I believe he's corrupt. After watching Robert Gavoya today, this judge's wife, who won't take his last name, she's keeping her maiden name. But anyway, she's represented the FBI agents that are currently being looked at very strongly for their actions. Strzok and Page. She represented the Biden administration, was involved in the J6 Unselect Committee, collects funds, I'll put it that way, funds for groups that are dedicated anti-Trump and anti-American, I'll say. Because, if you don't believe in making America great again, you're nothing to me. You're not an American to me. You're just a trespasser. You're a tourist. You're a fool. And anyway, so that's the pedigree of this judge that ordered his name taken out. So it wouldn't surprise me if there were people collecting their own fecal matter, which they have a fetish for that type of thing, their own bodily fluids, and giggling and running around, dumping who God knows what in a reflecting pool. Because we know they sabotaged gas lines and did a fuel spill, is what they called it one time, and a fuel dump another time in the dark of night. And they took some chemical or another, whether it was bleach or gasoline or who knows what, to kill the grass in large numbers, 8647, and they get their kicks out of it. But, they're working so hard. They're working so hard to fight fascism that they don't have time to become a trillionaire. And they hate everybody who does that. Anybody who becomes a thousandaire gets their ire. They need to pay their fair share. They're not doing enough. Well, you're not catching me running around with a bucket full of crap and spending my days and nights seething over Trump. But that's what they do. So I'd lay dollars to donuts that they know who's cutting those fuel lines. They know who putting that 8647 in and whatever little stunts they're pulling around there. And they're aggregating, collating, and getting these things together, just like they did with the Southern Poverty Law Center, just like they're in the middle of doing with the Act Blue group, which I think that is percolating. They're playing cards with them. They're playing cards with them till this midterm elections. Okay, so and we'll see what happens with that little card game, just like we're seeing what's happened with Southern Poverty Law Center and all these individuals being arrested for fraud on whatever program you can think of. As I said years ago, every program is a hog trough for the hogs to feed on. And that's exactly what we've got going. It's nothing but glorified vote buying. So government programs, nothing but glorified vote buying. Hi, Outlandish. How are you doing? Nice to see you. So I got footage of drones crashing into Moscow and drones crashing into Ukraine. And I was listening to my friend, I consider Christian Prince. I'm a little disappointed in him. He's thinking Trump is only operating on money and that the Iranians are going to pull a fast one and Trump is going to lose the midterms and the Iranians are going to close down the Gulf again. And it's going to be a big disaster for Trump. He hopes he's wrong. But, and that Putin is evil, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let me have a sip of my coffee up. Boy, that was good. Yeah. Y'all ought to take a sip of your coffee too, or whatever you got. I'm not judging nobody. But anyway, yeah. Some of them aren't getting paid. They're just lunatics, and they're getting paid by being in high government jobs that they don't have to show up to. They don't have bosses. They don't have responsibilities. Oh my gosh, if I don't do this or I don't do that, I'm going to get fired or I'm going to get a bad mark in my file. No, they don't have to worry about none of that stuff. They just support the big club and they think they're part of the big club. That's enough for them. And they get a paycheck, steady paycheck, great retirement. But it's coming to a close. But anyway, so I don't know. Should I go with this drone footage? This is, Trump met with Zelensky. I was going to make this a thumbnail. This is the oil refinery in Moscow. That was struck by drones. And every time I see one of these photos, I could look. This happens hundreds of times all across Eastern Europe. And I want to say, Greta von Thunberg, do something, Greta. Global warming, can't you see? Quit worrying about us having a barbecue. Quit worrying about us having a wood stove in our homes and trying to pass laws to stop all that stuff. Can't you see? But anyway, this is a short video view of what happened in Moscow. Now, I got some shots of drones actually hitting, drones coming in, one being shot down. And it really makes you wonder. Now, they say they shot down in one area 150 drones and another area altogether about 300 drones, if that's to be believed. But, it doesn't take many to get through, right? There's Miss Mendersu putting in booms. Ha ha. Yeah, Putin's going to lose it soon. Meet my little friend. Anyway, here we go. Greta, what are you going to do about this, Greta? You're worried about my old Oldsmobile or Cadillac or whatever I'm driving, which is none of her business. But you're worried about that. You want to pass laws where they can't even make a damn car that runs. And this stuff is going on day after day after day. This is being pumped out, and this is going to go on. This kind of smoke going up in the air is going to go on for days and days. And it's happening all over Europe. It's happening in Kiev. It's happening in Moscow. It's happening everywhere in between. Who's quiet? Yeah, the chats. I don't know. They're chatting along, looks to me. But anyway, here we go with another view of a different. Now they're accusing Putin of bombing a mall bombing a. Look at that smoke. Look at it. And I've used the analogy. How many, if you ran every damn vehicle on the face of the earth for 100 years, you couldn't get that kind of environmental impact. There's a vapor trail, looks to me like either one of the interceptors or one of the drones. I don't know. But anyway, since I got these, went to the trouble of getting these videos, we will play them and see what happened. Oh, this is one. Is this one that gets shot down or what? Let me see. Oh, boom, right in the top of a building. Did you see that? I wouldn't be out there filming. There we go again. Boom. Now, Putin is bombing apartment buildings. Or Ukraine's bombing, who knows? But wait a minute. Was it supposed to go over that to get to another target and just didn't have the altitude? They say these things are at the very outside of their range to get to this refinery and other stuff. So you may have something losing power, losing speed, losing anything, altitude. And that was very, very close to the top. I think they were trying to go over it. Yeah, imagine trying to live with that every day. Oh, they are going to be looking at the ACLU, Melinda. They made a formal complaint against that judge I was talking about. So how far is it going to go with the DC? I guess this is a DC bar. I don't know. Let's see what this one is. You can see pedestrian crossing there. What's going on? They can hear it. There you go. Yeah, you could hear it very faintly in the background coming. He's searching the sky with his phone. Yeah. Imagine living with that. Well, yeah, they're burning up junkyards trying to keep people from getting parts. But I'll tell you what, they're making brand new parts for Model Ts. They can with printing and machining, they can make parts just like factory new for something as old as the Model T. Let's see what this one is.
Бог в дом прям. Да.
Again, it hit right at the top. I don't know if it's supposed to clear that building or not. Let me play it again.
Бог в дом прям. Да.
I don't know. Well, this thing with the oil refinery, some people might think now that the Strait of Hormuz is open and oil is flowing through, did Trump maybe give a permission, I don't know, for Ukraine to do this, to goose Putin a little bit to get going? I don't know. Because they didn't they did hit refineries before this agreement. I will take that back. Let's see what's going on with this one. I don't know if that was supposed to happen or not. I don't know. They hit a radio tower and it didn't budge. I'll play it again. Didn't budge an inch, it looked like to me. But of course, there's sensitive electronics on those towers, and who knows if they meant to hit that or not. I don't think they did. Well, I guess I'll have to find the one that they shot here. Here it is. This might be it right here. Oh, I don't think. Oh, this is a longer video of the oil refinery in Moscow. Now, the oil coming out of the Gulf has to be refined. So it shouldn't affect anything but the preparedness for Russia to continue to get its own petrol, aviation fuel, which is kerosene, gasoline, and stuff. These are refineries, not, where they pump oil and store oil. So anyway, let me play this video.
Oui. Mana lagi masuk ke soy.
Man, did you see how quick that interceptor got there? That thing was like a lightning bolt. I wonder if that was one of those pistol style that I showed you all. They probably dispatched some security forces with anti-drone pistoles. Remember me showing that to you? Because, apparently we got at least how many hits here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits already. And you can see the drone cut through the sky. And I think you can see one interceptor that misses, goes kind of slow and misses. But boy, that second one didn't miss.
Oui. Masuk ke spot lain. Mana lagi masuk ke soy.
Yeah, so anyway, what's Putin's retaliation going to be? So I showed you a couple of weeks ago where he was giving them heads up before he sent Oreshniks in. He sent Oreshniks in, which they can't intercept. They can't, according to Russia. They can't intercept them. They can't stop them. Will he do that again in Kiev? Let me see. I think I got another video right here. That there's nobody around with a interceptor capability, but they seem to me like they're trying to take it down with small arms fire. Yeah, I saw one interceptor go by, but it didn't even get close. Or maybe it was going for another one. But how far did those things travel across Russia? I do not know. Did they pull a trick like they did with those camouflage trucks? And are they launching them from the interior of Russia? I don't know. Could very well be. Could very well be. But here's some reports on it. From ABC, breaking news. And there, Greta, look at that smoke, Greta. Shelter-in-place order due to the massive building fire in Boyle. This is something different. Again, Greta, what are we going to do about it? This is a solar panel manufacturing. A massive fire involving solar panels atop a... no, it's not manufacturing. It was where they were powering their company with solar to save the world. Solar panels atop a commercial building in Boyle Heights sent huge columns of black smoke into the air and triggered a shelter-in-place order in the area. How much government grant money went into putting those solar panels there? How many other buildings are at risk? How many other fires we're going to have as these things degrade, get dirty, get old, short out, and do something like this? To do what? So the company could run their computers and their lights, because you can't run AC systems and stuff like that off solar. You just can't. So and taking advantage of government grant money, our money in other words, and kickbacks to companies that lobby to be the ones to get the government contracts, all that stuff. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to go Cheech and Chong. What do I mean by that? Up in smoke. Up in smoke. So I'm sure after ABC put that story up, they probably figured, we better not mention that anymore. But anyway, here's a report from Ruski Land. The oil refinery, there's some of the pictures we see. We don't have our oil man here, do we? I don't talk about people that aren't here, but we got somebody that knows a little bit of something about the oil business. Cynthia, how are you? But I don't see him in the chats. But you see a stack there on fire. John Wayne did a movie about oil wildcatters, and the way they'd put out a fire in an oil well was they'd take explosives and put it right next to the stack that was on fire. And when the explosive went off, it sucked all the air away and put the fire out. So anyway, so that's what you see there is an oil stack going up in smoke. But anyway, what's the report here? Let's see. The oil refinery in Kapotnya in Moscow was attacked again, reported the mayor of the Russian capital, Sergei Sobyanin. He stated that more than 50 drones were shot down on their approach to Moscow in the morning. According to Sobyanin, whatever, several of them managed to reach the plant. Well, that's obvious. Obvious. Hi, Sue. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Think of what kind of chemicals are in those solar panels that are burning up. I remember I was burning some stuff, and I had a friend of mine come over, and she's liberal. So was her husband, and I had I think it was a couple of cups, and I threw them in the fire. What are you doing? That's plastic, and they're wax paper cups. Okay. Wax paper. And here's a grown woman. I have to explain to her that wax paper is not the same as burning plastic. But they had damn near had a seizure over microplastics going in the air. And I'm like, it's wax paper cups. And I don't think she, to this day, bought it. You know, had that annoyed look on her face, you know, like she's witnessing some catastrophe. 2 10-ounce wax paper cups getting burned. And what about this? What about this? What kind? There's plastic, there's wiring, there's all rubber, all kinds of crap going, thousands of pounds. And what's the roof made of? That's going to catch on fire too. So these people are insane. Don't do a cookout with charcoal because we got to save the planet. So anyway, liberal free zone for Robert. That's good. So let me see what Susie was saying. Let me see. Sue. Yeah. Yeah, they don't report on it. They don't report on it. What kind of chemicals are getting burned up. And just the fires in L.A. My God. All the plastics. They are insane. And I've said it before, and I'll say it for people that haven't heard it. They stopped our manufacturing in this country to save the environment. And we buy from places like, I'm not going to just pick on China, Indonesia, India, Pakistan, China, all that stuff gets shipped here, breaks within 6 months to a year. All that plastic, which most of it is plastic or subpar metal of some sort, and ends up in landfills here in America. They're just importing barge after barge after ton after ton after ton of plastics and garbage on cheaply made products they dump in our markets. People snap them up, buy them up right and left, and they end up in the dumpster, in the landfill. So, hi, Mountain Man, Mountain Hairface, how you doing? I call my own name out here. But anyway, they don't think about that kind of stuff. They're too stupid. You know, I started this conversation off talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Here's a picture of that woman I was telling you all about. She's a catch. Look at her. Isn't that a catch? She, like catching a clap. Another shovel face. Looks like she whopped in the face with a shovel. But anyway, this delicate flower, this beauty here, was in charge of Southern Poverty Law Center. She's a boss of one of the branches of the, funneled $1.2 million to her lover, who was cosplaying in a neo-Nazi group. And the pair even had a joint bank account. People are going to be going to jail over this. But if you need a crisis, you need to come up with a false and then flag. You know who to call. Southern Poverty Law Center. I tell you, this is a funny meme, a funny posting right here. Look at that setup, would you? Look at Paul. Look what Paul's doing. Lazy man's power more. I guess it was in I used to get Popular Mechanics. That might be what this is. Tends lawn, does chores, runs errands in air-cooled luxury. Page 70. I believe that'd be Popular Mechanics. I could be wrong. Look at Paul. And what does it say? Air-conditioned lawnmower, 1961. America was about to go on the most brain-melting run of all time. And then baby boomers took 3 puffs of ditchweed and decided enriching third world countries would be more chill. Now we're having our lawnmowers outlawed, you know. And then if we buy battery-powered outlaws, they tax you for it like they're trying to do in Virginia. Put a special tax on lawnmowers. Here's another one that was funny. Look at here. What's her problem? What is her problem? Free Carmelo. Black people, when they realize you go to prison for killing white people. Look at that eye drift. The jealous eye, I call it. Another sign of fetal alcohol syndrome. So many people just need to be diagnosed. Like Willie D. He says people, P-E-P-O, when he's talking about people. White people. Set Carmelo Anthony up. He's an innocent young man. All the white people. But anyway, if I ever had my head cut off by an African, please politicize my murder. Please use it to push a far-right agenda. Please start a Reconquista. Have y'all ever heard of the Reconquista? You might want to write that word down and do a little bit of research on UTizzle or Grok or whatever and learn a little bit about Reconquista. El Cid in Spain, okay? I'll leave it at that. So anyway, I got another one of these jewels here. Let's see. No, this is CNN has been self-stimulating over a lot of stuff. Particularly Obama's DEI dumpster. He's opening up that library. But now a top political appointee at the DOJ says a thwarted possible attack on the outdoor UFC fight held at the White House last weekend, quote, demonstrates the compelling need for President Trump's proposed ballroom. Thwarted attack on a UFC fight is another reason to build White House ballroom. And of course, all the comments were, Trump doesn't need some ballroom. He's just trying to make himself feel good. They don't mention what Trump keeps mentioning. The drone port. That the military wants a facility beneath it. It's required for national security. They don't bring that stuff up. The ballroom is just the cherry on top, okay? Yeah, plastic crapola bumpers. Yeah, he hit a deer with a car now. Deer looks at you like, why'd you destroy your car like that? Anyway, so they are just having a big old time over Obama. You know, before I get into that dope, let me play some of these clips I got. Because sometimes I'll go through a whole broadcast and I'll go, golly, look at the time. And I'll have a bunch of clips I uploaded for nothing. Because I talked my head off. So anyway, I had a couple of clips. I'll play them later. But J.D. Vance is I don't know if he's kind of positioning himself for 2028. It looks like Rubio kind of got a jump start on him. You know, you got everybody raving about Rubio because he's been in front of the cameras a lot, you know, and he's been doing a great job, Rubio has. So anyway, now we're seeing a lot more J.D. Vance. So he put out a little, let me see if this is the one. Oh, this is a headphone time because I can't hear very good without my headphones in. So anyway, I'll play he's got a press conference and then he's got an interview he's doing. And Let me play the press conference ones first, okay? Let's see. This one isn't very... My voice will change because of the microphone. See what I'm saying? It muffles a little bit, but it's the only way I can hear the video along with you all. And then I cut my mic off and play it, and the video is louder.
I've seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the Vice President of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place here. We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place.
You know, I appreciate his try at humor there, but I would, you know, I know the nation needs to come together and all that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't want to spend 30 seconds with Joy Behar. But she, you know, can influence people way more than I ever could, so maybe it's the best way to go as far as trying to find some comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y, not comedy, comity in our body politic. Yeah, I guess you gotta try to find some common ground. I don't know. But anyway, here we go again.
Well, first of all, we believe international waterways should be free of tolls, and that's been our position. That's what you see, of course, in the 60 days of the MOU. And when you say it leaves it open, it doesn't really leave it open, except in the sense that, of course, the final negotiation is going to set the terms of what comes afterwards, right? You said, I think that it's the Omanis and the Iranians, but it's actually the MOU contemplates that the Omanis, the Iranians, and the Gulf Coast Coalition together will figure out a proper security framework for the Straits in the future. And what I mean by that is that we don't ever want this to happen again. Right? That's not about tolling. That's about ensuring that the Straits are never used as a choke point for the global economy ever again. It's frankly not what the Iranians want. It's not what the Omanis want. It's not what the GCC wants either. So what we're going to do, of course, working with our allies in the region, is to ensure that that is reflected in the final deal. And if that's not reflected in the final deal, there's not going to be a final deal. And that is, I keep coming back to this fundamental structural point of this negotiation, which is that we have all the cards. If the Iranians want the benefits of the bargain, they have to give us the things that are necessary to get those benefits.
I think he's saying in an overly, well, not overly diplomatic, I'll just say diplomatic way. Because they're saying that what was put in the agreement that they're not going to charge tolls during this 60-day time period. And they're going, oh, well, you're giving them permission to charge tolls after the 60 days. No, this is a 60-day period to, well, I'll say it, come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. And if they don't do it, we can always start bombing them again. We're not going to allow piracy in that waterway, period. But we got to have a 60-day period where we can get the final touches, and if they can't comply, we start bombing them again. I don't know how many times Trump's had to say that, but he's got to say it in a diplomatic way. That's what he's doing, and he's also alluding to what I discussed in the past, that it's going to boil down to what it's always boiled down to all through history. You have to get along with other countries to conduct trade. You can't force people, especially in this day and age, to buy only from you. There's such a thing called competition. It's human nature. And people are not going to come around you if you're dangerous or unpredictable or unreliable. In other words, if you're uncivilized. So it's going to be bringing them into the civilized world by realizing they have to accommodate people if they want people to give them money, time, investment, things like that. Not just walking around like a caveman with a club. So anyway, here we go.
Now, I saw the Axios report that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
In other words, you don't have a lot of friends. Donald Trump's your only friend. And it's been that way for thousands of years in the Middle East as far as the Jewish people. And Donald Trump's your friend. Don't blow it. He's talking to the Israeli cabinet. So he said it nicely. So I don't want to OD on J.D. Vance, but let's just, I got the clips. Let's just see what he's driving at here. He's on Sean Hannity's show. Here, let's see what's going on here.
Best instincts about human beings of anybody I've ever met. There's an almost spiritual dimension of where he understands whether somebody's telling them the truth or not. He understands whether somebody's trying to pull one over on him or not. You have people who are constantly coming into the White House and asking for things. And he has this unbelievable ability to sniff out whether this person wants this thing because it's good for America or because he wants it because it's good for him.
He's talking about, of course, Donald Trump. Now, I hope you inherit that instinct or it rubs off on you, JD. And, I'm reading the comments too. Yeah, like with Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg. I put them in the demonic category. It's demonic thinking. I don't give a damn what kind of propaganda they've been pushed over the decades. Anybody that would talk to a child about changing their gender has got evil in their heart. And I tell you what, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That the reason for that saying, people think they're doing good. They deluded themselves into thinking they're doing good, and you can't do anything worse to a young person. You can't do anything worse to a young person than psychologically abuse them, send them home feeling like there's something wrong with them or they're inherently inadequate. You heard about this Major League Baseball was fining players for not wearing for putting Bible verses on their uniforms instead of pride. Pride, that is nothing but promoting heresy, hedonism, okay? That's in my book. It's nothing else. It's not kindness. It's not inclusivity. Okay? It's evil. And it is giving the middle finger to the Word of God. So, no, there's nothing nice about it. There's nothing to be proud of. So Rob Schneider is going to cover fines for Major League Baseball players wearing Bible verses. I used to go to social events or another couple's house, and I would see these so-called men so engrossed in these whatever game, baseball, basketball, whatever. And I could see this trouble more than 20 years ago with the global warming hoax, the it's okay to be gay, telling children. I saw that stuff coming. And all those issues are the farthest thing from their minds. They don't realize that you not only protect your family physically, you protect them psychologically. And they're taking their time like children, grown men, watching these dopey games, watching millionaires throw balls around. I never had any respect for it, and I never liked going to those things. You never go to my friends' houses with me. I don't want to sit around that crap. I've been through high school, okay? I'm a grown man now. I ain't got time for that stuff. That's the way I used to be. Still am. So anyway, let Major League Baseball shrivel up and die on the vine, okay? Grow the hell up. Men, you need to grow the hell up. Maybe some of y'all, I had a radar picture of that storm splitting. Okay, there's a big storm coming toward the UFC fights that Trump had. And I didn't get a chance to put the picture up, the radar image, on my last broadcast. But here Dana White's talking about it. And when the storm split. And he doesn't come out and say he thinks it was divine intervention. He says Trump does so. Maybe he does. I wouldn't listen to him. Let's check.
Like the Channel 7 meteorologists.
Right.
We have like the military, right? We got like the best guys in the world. We're absolutely positively getting hit. It's going to hit. So we got a team. We're ready. When it hits, we're going to get out there and clean everything up as best we can. And then we're going to go on at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Right.
I think it was 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:30. Okay.
Right.
We're going to go after the rain. The storm comes and splits at the White House and goes around the White House in the ellipse.
Like divine intervention.
Well, the president believes that to his core, that, it was divine intervention.
I saw the radar images, Dana, and right, it's like a big ass storm, and then it's like gone, and then it's back again.
So my head of production, Craig Borsari, who is the absolute best in the business, and a genius and a workhorse, he lost 10 pounds this week.
Yeah, I'm reading some of y'all's comments. I put a link in the description for Buy Me a Coffee. At pretty much the top of the hour, the 58-minute mark. I want to thank Gary. He's not here tonight, but I'm going to thank you anyway, Gary, for dropping a Moab and Buy Me a Coffee. Do I have my booms ready? Let me see. I sure do. Where's it at? Well, we're there. Boom. And Younger Gang helping out this week. I do appreciate it. Boom. And I always give Miss Minder Sue, she drops Moabs when she goes in. So I give her some Moab booms. And Mike and Bev, who sometimes help multiple times a week. So kaboom, kaboom, kaboom to Mike and Bev. And Gary, I don't know where you're at, buddy, but thank you so much for helping out this week. Kaboom. So anyway, I put a link in the chats at the 58-minute mark if anybody wants to help out. So, yes, designs, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it very much, and welcome aboard. So anyway, I might come across that radar picture, but it certainly did. The storm was split in half. But, isn't this a beautiful thing right here? Isn't this beautiful? Oh, look at it. What a gore. And look up in the corner there. Like nobody's got closed caption. Everything's closed caption. Anything. But anyway, look at the crowd. There is a crowd. Oh, let's all go into this dung temple. This anybody who can't see that he was pushing for this Muslim Brotherhood stuff, and that he was pushing for communism and redistribution of wealth and setting the table for an invasion of our nation, which we have suffered from and are still suffering from. To go down there and kowtow to him and think that they're doing anything good for this country, yes, they are lost. And they have to stay lost, and they'll have to stay miserable, and they're going to, if they don't get on board, or the hell with you. But anyway, here they all are. Let me cover myself. I don't know if it's any talking during this or not. Let me see. My studio. There we go.
We'd also like to take a moment to recognize the original inhabitants of the land upon which we are gathered today. We honor the Anishinaabe, the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi nations.
Can you imagine waking up and looking at that thing in the morning? Yeah, you're on stolen land. Get the hell out. And what was it, Potawatomi and the Hootie Dooties and the what you call it nations? Who did they steal it off of? Okay, whose villages did they overrun? Whose livers and hearts did they eat to take over before? Okay? But anyway, no, we're on stolen land. Well, get the hell off it then. Give it back to the Hoopty Doopies and the Potawatskis or what the hell ever. And this guy, what are we going to do with this guy here? And, anybody that calls themselves an American that believes, listen, this person did so much damage to our culture, so much psychological damage, divided families, parents coming home from work and their kid is talking about cutting their genitals off, looking to the future or living a life of hedonism. And they're a fraud in their existence. And they got in on a lie, on top of a lie. And now hear what she, take the word, put it together, is talking about our country. We should just not be a country. We should be a doormat for the world, okay? And a public toilet, I guess.
Immigrants proving what it truly means to be a dreamer. These folks aren't Americans too. They are America. They are the beating heart of this country. They are us and we are them. And to ignore this simple truth, to refuse to respect the contributions and experiences of people who aren't exactly like us, y'all, puts us all at risk. Failing to see the humanity in all people puts us all on a slippery slope.
Yeah, slippery slope where we have hundreds of billions of dollars stolen from us. People that'll never assimilate. And they come from low trust societies. The first thing they want to do is steal. Yeah, the majority of them, I'm sorry. And hey, Judeo-Christian societies are incompatible with Islam, okay? Just deal with it. Live with it. It's a fact. And we got to turn this ship around. I don't know what this is about. Let's see. Is this so bummer? Who is this? Or who could this be? I don't know. Oh, no, let's see. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Could be totally off topic. I don't know. Let's find out together.
So, good morning.
All of you have led on and...
Oh, it's Pete Hegseth. He's going to tell them in a diplomatic way that they got to start taking care of themselves. They got to start paying their bills. He does it in a diplomatic way at the G7. No, he does it in NATO, after G7.
And other nations are stepping up to do. So a lot of commitments made at the Hague Summit, many countries following through, some that still need to do more. And we will be candid about that, both in private and in public. I think that's important. Friends, being honest with friends, making sure that they can step up. But I appreciate you noting what the United States is doing as well through the leadership of President Trump. This is not just something we're saying, it's something we're doing through the way we act as well. A $1.5 trillion investment in our defense in FY27 is a message to the world. And we're so personally invested, I'll be up on Capitol Hill for weeks making the case, whether it's reconciliation or the supplemental or the base budget, how important these investments are to our capabilities, our defense industrial base.
Yeah, he's doing a reassessment of all troop deployments in Europe. We're going to be careful about how we spend our capital, okay? Our industrial base, our resources, and how people are treating us. And we're going to be honest with you all. In other words, if you're jerks, we're going to tell you you're jerks. Here's what the letter looked like from the cardboard mullah. This is, they say, a dispatch from the Supreme Leader himself about this deal. A letter to the nation. Let me see if I can find it. That's clandestine. I'll read the text if I can come across it. Here we go. I think this is it. Here we go. New. Oh, my goodness. Let me get my screenshot back. There we go. Come on. Okay. Iran, message from Iran's supreme leader to the Iranian nation and on the U.S.-Iran memorandum of understanding. Remember I told you all that real estate terms, you're going to be seeing a lot of them? Well, that's a real estate term. And also, it's used in real estate. Memorandums of understandings and letters of intent. We're probably going to be seeing that soon. But anyway, in the name of God, most compassionate, most merciful, the proud and loyal nation of Iran, as you have been informed, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the President of the United States, Presidents of Iran and the United States. On the path to reaching this stage, the officials responsible for this matter made great efforts out of sincere concern and with good intentions. Okay. Of course, the President of the United States also used various forms of pressure for this matter, relying on intimidation. In principle, I had a different opinion, but because of the commitment made by the respected president, who, remember, a couple of weeks ago wanted to resign and was going to resign, as head of the Supreme National Security Council, on his own behalf and on behalf of the other members, to uphold the rights of the Iranian nation. Let's see what kind of mealy mouth stuff he puts for. And the resistance front. And because they are clearly accepted responsibility for it, and because they clearly accepted responsibility for it, I issued permission for it. So he's saying, in other words, he's dumping it all in the president's lap, right? He also stated that if the American side seeks to demand more, they will not accept it and will leave the negotiations. From this moment, we, meaning you, the proud nation, and this humble servant, will await the fulfillment of stated conditions. It is self-evident that the negotiations that will take place in the future do not mean accepting the enemy's view. Oh. We hope the prayers of our master, His Eminence Hujat Ibn al-Hassan, may our souls be sacrificed for him. Oh boy. Let's see, we'll bring all kinds of victories and successes to the honorable people of Iran. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings, whatever. So that's what you call something mealy-mouthed. He's still calling us the enemy, saying they'll sacrifice their very souls, namely your physical bodies, if you know what I mean. But we'll see how it plays out. I want to get to the point that we pass these midterms, make sure that this doesn't get elevated to a point where it turns people against Trump, and get past these midterms and then start kicking rear end. And then the hell with them if they play games. So we're really going to be seeing the deep state putting on pressure to screw this deal up. Here's a guy from Ecuador. I was waiting before I played this. I should wait till we get her. Some friends from Canada. We got any friends from Canada? Canada in? Besides our usual friends? Because this guy is in Toronto. And he's from Ecuador, okay? Supposedly you might as well say a third world nation, right? Here's his opinion. He's a ball player from Ecuador.
Guys, Toronto is one of the dirtiest. It doesn't even feel like it's a first world country. Look. You don't see this in Ecuador. Look. Do you see this in Ecuador? Look. This is downtown. This is like the flagship. Yonge and Dundas. This is the flagship of Toronto. And there's literally garbage, crackheads, crazy people talking to themselves, fetty heads. Bro, this is a third world country. Like this, I feel like I'm in, bro, coming from Quito is way more civilized. This is a fucking mess. What is going on, guys?
No different than New York or go to LA. No different than anywhere liberal. Anywhere liberal. So anyway, we got to get into this Pass and Save Act. You know, I got this stuff. I'm sick of looking at Obama. It's his big day. And CNN is putting up post after post about how great he is. Look, it's almost always the same picture of him. He poses this way, like looking up into the heavens. Americans view Obama far more positively than Trump or Biden. CNN poll finds that Americans 57% like Obama. Who is this poll service, SSR? I don't know who the hell they are. What are they doing, going down Skid Row? Far surpassing the ratings of his two Oval Office successors. According to them, only 34% of the public have a favorable opinion of Donald Trump, with Biden at 30%. You know, weaponizing polls. But CNN is just, and they're going to keep doing it all weekend over this Juneteenth crap, Obama crap. Here we go. There he is again, posing in that, the way I told you that Lenin and Trotsky and all them learned how to pose for pictures. Barack Obama confronts the work that remains for Democrats and for him. He's not ready to fade into history. Well, he'd be lucky if he gets exiled to Kenya, okay? and instead of sitting in a damn jail cell. On and on, just post after post. Who is it all from? ABC and CNN. A declaration that we are all created equal. Here he is. Here he is showing that he was elbow deep in that dopey No Kings operation. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator, certain unalienable rights, and in the newly independent United States, there will no longer be kings or lords, nor serfs nor subjects, but only citizens. Insinuating that Trump's acting like a king, when they're the ones that have enslaved us with high taxes, a devalued dollar, and let our nation be overrun by invaders. Who's paying the bill for the invaders? Sure in the hell ain't the invaders. Sure in the hell ain't the people with the free Carmelo shirts. I didn't get the video, but look at this. Look what has happened in 25 years. Yesterday, in my mind, yesterday, it was 2001. It goes that quick. From 2001 to 2026, who's extremely or very proud to be an American? GOP has stayed rock solid at 90%. The Dems have plummeted from 85% down to 29%. And don't tell me that Obama didn't have anything to do with that. That Michelle Obama infesting the school system with the stolen land BS, victimization, transgenderism, self-doubt, self-loathing, inculcating that into children's minds is a big part of this, and resurrecting racism. That's right, Todd. There are construction companies, minority groups that are going to go bankrupt because they're not getting paid. Here you go. Only 27% of Democrats will display American flag July 4th. Only 27%. What happened to my chat's disappeared. I always get leery when stuff like that happens. You never know when stuff's going to act up. What's this? I see some more American flags. What's this about? CNN, you can't trust a damn thing they say. Trump administration ramps up effort. Oh, here we go. Evil Trump. Obama just said we're all citizens. No one's a king. Trump administration ramps up effort to revoke citizenship from naturalized citizens. They plan to file at least 250 denaturalization cases by October. It should have another 4 or 5 zeros behind it. Denaturalize and deport these anti-American invaders. So CNN has just been on a pro-Obama bender, more so than usual. And they didn't invite Trump to the grand opening. Trump doesn't want to go to that dumpster fire. But here's who did show up. Former presidents attending the opening of the Obama Center. Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden. Clinton, Bush, Obama, Biden. No Trump. I ain't going to read that. But I want to show you something that the Reagan Foundation put on YouTube. Let me see if I can get this some perspective here. Let's put this over here. And man, I don't know. You put this in context with history. How many presidents have we been through, for God's sake, since Kennedy got shot? As the Obama Presidential Center celebrates opening today, this is from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. We're looking back at a historic moment from the dedication of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. This marked the first time in history 5 U.S. presidents gathered together. And this could have been the second time that you had 5 gathered together, right? So if they had Trump. So there you see, if you include Trump, there's 10 presidents. And most of the people in my chats and who watch my videos remember every single one of them on screen. Right, folks? And Johnson and Kennedy, right? Some of us. But that if you had Trump in that picture, there's the last, that would be the last 10 presidents since Johnson, who I consider to be the remnant of Camelot. He was JFK's vice president, right? Since they assassinated JFK, here they are on the screen, except that they left Trump out. Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. That's the way it should be. I don't know if there's somebody out there in the chats that find that an interesting little bit of history. We could get a picture of a busload of people like this, victims to this hellscape that Obama helped create, along with Clinton and Bush Sr., Bush Jr. Carter was just stupid. On down the line, but this is where we come to, where people aren't safe in their own country anymore. That they've gotten a aspect of our society be loathsome of their own country, and loathsome of people who want to preserve our country. Let's see. I got a video of Sean Hannity. Let's go ahead and play it. What are you talking about, Sean? Let's see. I got this video. Trump sends a strong warning to Iran. A lot of people are upset and worried about this deal. Before I play this, around the world, how is this being perceived? India today, the movers and the shakers. Okay. How's the majority of the world is looking forward to this thing working out and are holding Trump in high esteem. Here you got where Trump signed the agreement. Trump posted this picture where Trump signed the agreement. And then I read you the letter from the cardboard mullah, right? Well, they put out a picture. The Iranian government did. Let me put this over here. And we'll put this one right here. Oh, come on now. There we go. The U.S. on Thursday lifted its blockade, blah, blah, blah. Here he is, signing his part of the agreement. And there's Trump. You see Donald Trump's very bold signature right there in the hands of the Iranian president. So Trump's happy, I'm happy. So anyway, let's see what Sean Hannity's got to say about it.
Here with more reaction is Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt. By the way, maybe the best congressional baseball game catch in the history of the game. Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you.
Let's get your take on
all of this.
Yeah, did you see him catch that ball? He did a face plant. That's just an aside, but he did a diving catch. I had that video, but I ran out of time. It was pretty impressive.
Through the prism of they will never in a 5-8 month period of time, year or two, have any odds of ever getting a nuclear weapon. The president's number one priority. The president telling me directly, telling the American people directly, he will rain hell down on them if they try. So at that point in time, what is the downside in giving this an opportunity?
There isn't. And I think this, again, dealing from a position of strength and clarity. The President of the United States, President Trump, was very clear from the get-go what the mission here was, which was to ensure that Iran would never have a nuclear weapon. They have no ability to do that, and they're signing on the dotted line now, Sean, for the first time that they're not going to do that, and we don't need to trust them. We just need to verify that, right? So effectively, President knocked out their military capability. Their Navy's at the bottom of the sea. They have no air defense. Their nuclear program is in shambles. It's nowhere near ever being started up again. And we can always go back and mow the lawn if necessary because we've got eyes on it. So the president's provided now, through all of that action, space for diplomacy. That has always been his North Star. You know that in any situation. And he's got it right now. So there's always more things to do. We need to make sure, obviously, we're verifying all of this. But the president's pulled off something here that most experts 6 months ago wouldn't have thought were possible. And I think it's good for the American people.
You know, it's really insane after all Donald Trump has done, beating the Caliphate, Soleimani, Baghdadi, Midnight Hammer, Epic Fury. I don't know why people would doubt for a second that he means what he says, that he has no problem going back in and finishing it. What I was told internally is the Iranians, even the people that have been negotiating with our side, after he hit him hard twice last week and then threatened to hit him harder the next night and threatened maybe to take Carg Island, they were begging to just sign any dotted line and get this moving forward. That apparently was a sore point for them.
Well, they're at their weakest point in 50 years. I mean, that's the truth. And anything that's going to happen here now is performance-based. You want to talk about this compared to Obama's disastrous deal where everything was front-loaded and kind of created a path to a nuclear weapon. This is just the opposite. You've got the master deal maker here who used the leverage that he has, who still has that leverage as president moving forward to make sure that they're not going to secure a nuclear weapon. That has been the goal all along. And so while the Democrats, I hear them talking about it on Capitol Hill today, we're really rooting for America to lose. That's the truth. We're rooting for America to win here. The president's been very successful in fulfilling his promise that they're not going to get a nuclear weapon. It would be incredibly destabilizing, not just for the region, but for the world if that happened. And now the president has a memorandum of understanding that's going to continue to be negotiated to make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing people they don't bring up enough is the danger. There's no way you could ignore it as a responsible human being to allow them to have nuclear weapons, which is exactly what Obama did. Exactly what Obama did. What his deal was a path, an eventual path to a nuclear weapon. Trump's is no nuclear weapon, period. And, you know, these biolabs, I'm seeing people talking about Fauci. Dr. Fauci, his day's coming. Clandestine put this up. Look at this. More than 4 years ago, the Washington Post. I saw where Jeff Bezos supposedly told Trump buying the Washington Post was one of the worst things he ever did. And that the people won't listen to him. His employees won't listen to him. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come. You know, I don't know. But here, as Clandestine pointed out, they called the biolab a conspiracy theory. The biolab conspiracy theory quickly went viral. It took weeks to pinpoint the source. And they're talking about Jacob Creech, who is clandestine. He's going to sue. I think he's going to sue. But yeah, who was behind covering up those biolabs? Who's behind calling the conspiracy theory? You know, I want to show you all that. I got Drone Wars as my title. And they've been saying that Russia is bombing all these different places that not military. But one place they bombed was a film studio. And everybody is going, oh, they're attacking civilians. Well, this post shows, as stated by the Russian Ministry of Defense, the strike on the Dovzhenko film studio building in Kiev was carried out because Ukrainian drones were being assembled there. And this article went on to say, this picture is from news agencies that are calling Putin a beast for targeting civilian sites. But there you see in the red square, drone parts, a wing. And it shows that that's where they were assembling drones. So misinformation. They can post pictures that show actual drones being blown up in these so-called civilian sites. The Washington Post can be shown stuff that shows that there were biolabs by China saying it and Russia saying it, but they continue to push the conspiracy theory point. What I'm saying is somebody is steering this media, and they're either going along with it because of stupidity, or they're going along with it to undermine our country and our national security. But here I've had this video for about 2 weeks. And this is an underground drone factory. They say that Ukraine is capable of making somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 million drones a year.
This is the beating heart of Ukraine's new strategy. Plastic, glue, and a whole lot of carbon fiber that may be changing the tide of the war. At this underground factory, the defense company Firepoint assembles hundreds of long-range drones every day. Different floors, different parts, all manufactured in secrecy.
At the end, these parts come together, both the body and the wings, to make one single drone that will be launched deep inside of Russia. We've seen more and more strikes on Russian oil exports. Is that a priority?
FP1 is the long-range drones. It's right now is the cheapest drones.
Dennis Stillerman is the company's co-founder. He says Firepoint's drones are now among Ukraine's most widely used weapons for strikes inside Russia.
Most of OTC done by this drone.
And the attacks have been mounting. Repeated strikes on storage terminals, refineries, and export hubs across Russia are stretching Moscow's air defenses thin. Ukraine calls them long-range sanctions, a campaign of strikes targeting the oil industry that generates roughly a quarter of Russia's state revenue, and which Ukraine says is used to fund the war. For everyday Ukrainians, the recent success on the battlefield is a welcome morale boost.
Happiness, first of all.
It's time they understand that they can be punched back and to keep their noses out of here.
Russians should also feel the war on their own skin. The war goes back to where it came from.
No longer on the back foot, Ukraine hopes the tide of the war may finally be changing in its favor. Audrey McAlpine, Al Jazeera, Ukraine.
Yeah, I see what you're all saying. The Smith-Mundt Act says you can't put propaganda on the people. You can't lie to people. You can't defraud the people with lies. That's what I read it as. And Obama suspended that law. He suspended the Smith-Mundt or struck it all together. But that doesn't mean it's still not illegal. It's still illegal to lie to people. It's still illegal to defraud people. And even when the Smith-Mundt Act was valid and law of the land, they still broke it. It doesn't matter whether we make. It's like saying, everybody has to be good to one another. It's the law. Well, it gets broken every day, thousands of times a day. You got to get the lawbreakers. And just because Obama suspended that law or did away with that law, it's still illegal to deceive and defraud people and lie to people, especially when you're doing it to harm the nation. What is this woman's deal? She's coming out and condemning Joe Biden. What do you think's behind this?
He made a terrible mistake. He made a terrible mistake for himself, his legacy, and for the country. He had said that he would not run again. And, counterfactual narratives are always a bit tricky. But I believe if he had kept to that plan and said in, say, the late summer of 23 that he wasn't going to run, that he was going to pass, the torch to the next generation, we would have had a real contest. And very sadly, I believe whoever emerged from that contest, whether it was the vice president or a governor or a senator or anybody else, would have beaten Donald Trump. So I think it was a terrible miscalculation on the part of President Biden. But once he didn't move and did not, admit that he had said he was going to step aside and then decided not to, and held on for as long as he did, we were in a terrible dilemma.
Ha ha ha! Yeah, you've been had by the white hats. Okay, Joe Biden was already shot, right? But Trump said he's shot, and he got exposed by a masked man. It wasn't really Biden, was it? Mike Lee's proposal to pass the Save America Act. I heard Ted Cruz is giving Mike Lee a hard time. I heard Senator Kennedy. Remember I said in the past, I like him, but I'm not crazy about how he operates. And what did Trump always say about Lindsey Graham? He's there when you need him. So you got Senator Kennedy and Cruz giving Mike Lee a hard time about the Save America Act. Why aren't both of those people on board with the Save America Act? Kennedy and Cruz. Because they're not being like Lindsey Graham. They're not being there when you need them. But anyway, here's Mike Lee.
Word for the Save America Act?
Yes, there is, Kaylee, and I respectfully but very strongly disagree with my colleague from South Dakota on that. In the first place, the Save America Act, as passed by the House of Representatives, does have a simple majority of support in the United States Senate. Now, we don't have 60 votes. We're about 10 votes shy of achieving cloture. There are other ways of breaking a filibuster that don't involve resort to cloture. You don't actually have to have 60 votes to pass a bill. You just have to have 60 votes to force cloture. But you can break a filibuster through other means. My preferred means, particularly for this bill, the House passed Save America Act, which I believe would work. We put the Save America Act on the floor today. Not the expanded version, the one that actually passed by the House, for which there is a simple majority support in the Senate. You put that on the floor today. If the majority leader were to announce we're going to debate this until we pass it, we would get to the point of passage. You can't do this all the time because it would take a lot of time. This is how they passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. At the time that bill came over in March of that year from the House of Representatives, they were about 30 votes shy of cloture. We're only 10 votes short. But the majority leader at the time, Mike Mansfield from Montana, to his credit, said, you know what, we're 30 votes shy of cloture, but we're going to debate this bill until it passes. And you know what happened? That bill got more popular. Those who were obstructing it got less popular. They started negotiating the terms of their exit ramp. They negotiated changes to the text that made them feel better about it and helped them save face. It ended up passing. That takes legislative courage to do that, and that's what we need in the Senate. We could pass it. Don't fall for the hype that this is undoable. It's only undoable if we choose not to go to the effort. I don't say that about every bill, but I do say that about a bill that enjoys the support of somewhere between 70 and 80% of Americans, Republicans and Democrats alike. This bill needs to pass, and we could do it.
Senator Lee, thank you for.
Maybe that'll be the precipice. I don't know. They say people don't change till they get to the precipice. Is the precipice where they don't pass the SAVE Act and we have rampant cheating and we got a bunch of frauds running the government? And what did, oh gosh, her name escapes me. Why? She said, fraud vitiates everything. Who am I talking about, folks? Fraud vitiates everything. Maybe we'll get to a point where, like people are saying in the chats, we're watching a show, we see rampant fraud and people like Ted Cruz, people like Kennedy, people like John Thune, who's on the screen right now, let it happen. Is that the precipice where Trump's got to take action? What's her name? She said fraud vitiates everything. Sidney Powell. I got it before the chat said, ha, ha, ha. Sidney Powell said fraud vitiates everything. If that's the case, we would have a whole new government in California. There are all a bunch of frauds there. We just saw that with what happened with Spencer Pratt. But anyway, here's John Thune. He's going to tell us why they can't do the Save America Act. How come the Senate cannot pass something that requires people to be American citizens and provide identification?
National security.
But now the president is putting another stipulation. He wants his Save America Act, which is a voter ID, although it has other provisions in it, to be attached to FISA. He had a Truth Social saying that the few Democrats, his word, are against FISA with or without Bill Pulte going to DNI as acting. What kind of deal is that? Besides, I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act, full version, firmly attached to it. What do you say to the president on that?
Well, we've had the vote on the full version twice now. So the full version is 5 components, and it's photo ID, it's registration or citizenship in order to register to vote, no biological boys and girls sports, bans mail-in voting, and it does away with trans surgeries for minors, which I'm for, and a lot of us are. But that only got...
And those 5 things are fairly practical in the Republican caucus.
They are. I mean, those are things that... But we only got 48 votes. We had that vote last week on all 5 components. The only way you can get, obviously get this done is to nuke the legislative filibuster, and that is not something that we have anywhere close to the votes to do. So we've had votes. We had it on the floor. It was the pending business in the Senate for a couple of weeks. We've done everything we can to date. We'll continue to put the Democrats on record. The Democrats are voting against an issue that 80 to 85% of the American people are for, and we need to hold them accountable for that.
But the president doesn't seem to understand your math.
Yeah, and I get that, and he's very
on conversations with him. Yeah. How does this go over? Because the way he types it in his True Social post, it's pretty aggressive. He thinks you should be doing more,
and he's passionate about it. And we are doing everything that we can.
Yeah, Bret Baier's pushing back against him now. Remember, Trump played golf with Bret Baier, and Bret Baier's the one that called Arizona for Biden. But he's taken Thune to task. And John Thune said, we got to put the Democrats on record. The hell with that. We got to put the Republicans that are stabbing us in the back on record. We got to put them on blast. But anyway.
But it is a function of math. I mean, we are bound by arithmetic in the United States Senate. The votes currently aren't there. We will continue to put the Democrats on the record and insist on votes on this. But if you tried to attach it, for example, to FISA, it would tank FISA. And so, we will move, once we get Clayton done, we'll move to FISA, try to get the Democrat coalition back together so we can actually pass that and put it on the president's desk. But, and we will look for votes, additional opportunities to get votes on the SAVE Act.
What about housing? You've got a deal, potentially a bipartisan, bicameral bill on housing. And there are going to be people, including the president probably, who say, put Save America on that.
Well, I think he has said that. I don't think there's a bill that's come in front of us that he hasn't said that on. The housing bill, carefully negotiated, what we call four corners, bipartisan, bicameral, Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate. It is an issue that directly gets at the heart of the affordability question for a lot of Americans. It creates additional supply of housing in this country, makes housing more affordable. And so I'm hoping that's something, too, that we can complete, get on the president's desk, get signed into law, and that he will do that without making additional demands that on some of these bills he has been.
How much do you think it hurts in the MAGA base as you head into November that you can't get that done to Save America?
Well, I mean, I think, again, you have to, again, it's a pure function of math. And I'm sympathetic to it. I'm for it. I voted for all that stuff. Most of my colleagues and Republican colleagues in the Senate are. We haven't gotten the Democrats have block voted against it. They haven't gotten a single Democrat vote. And that's where I think you make this a campaign issue and you go after Democrats. I don't think it's helpful to go after Republicans to try and get us to do something. People now know we don't have the votes to do, and we've demonstrated that now. We've had 5 votes on this.
How would you say your relationship with the president is now? He seems to be working a lot with Speaker Johnson. How would you characterize it?
It's strong. It's good. I mean, we have our pointed conversations. I express my views. He expresses his. Sometimes those get a little bit testy and heated, but in the end, we have a job to do, and we have an alignment of incentives. There are times when, for reasons of how the Senate functions, the answer isn't always yes to the things that he wants to do, but we do everything we can to work constructively with him and his team to ensure that we are moving the country forward in a way that achieves those objectives.
Senator McConnell, we're told, was hospitalized. Have you heard any word on him?
I have.
Yeah, McConnell was hospitalized. But you ever hear so much double talk in your life? Well, we got to work on affordability. We just don't have enough votes. We voted on it 5 times. Blah, 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 blah. All that BS. And well, wait a minute. I saw that. The USAID, we're not starving the world, Cynthia. I know you're being facetious. We're not starving the world by taking away USAID. We're starving out the propaganda machine, but that USAID was just a tip of the iceberg for the propaganda machine funding. We're finding out there's so much more than that that's going around. But as far as starving the world, hey, I want to close. I want to close with a video. We got a lot of young foreigners that have never tried American food before. Okay, and so they're coming from all around the world. They're going to places like Whataburger. And, you know, we take for granted this kind of stuff every day. And they're just amazed by the food we have here. So anyway, I'm going to be going live tomorrow night. We still got a lot to talk about. The filibuster, the SAVE Act, what's going on with Ukraine, Russia, Iran, America, all kinds of stuff, and what's going on our own shores, our own political. The knee-jerk reaction would be to say, pass an executive order, you got to be a citizen, you got to show ID, and whoever's against that, remember that meme I put up of Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln, you just make people follow the law using the military if you have to. But the country's not ready for that yet. They haven't hit the precipice. All right, folks. But anyway, we'll talk about that some more. But if you're subscribed, you would know I'm going live tomorrow night. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And what do I always say? I say, thank you for spending your precious time with me. I put my postage stamp up for Buy Me a Coffee. And once again, I want to thank the Younger Gang and Gary for helping out this week with Buy Me a Coffee. I do appreciate it. So anyway, thank you for spending your precious time with me, folks. Enjoy this video of these young people having the American experience, which we want to preserve for future generations, right, folks? Our greatest export should be the American spirit. So anyway, folks, enjoy this video. You all have a great night, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Want a burger?
I'm in America for the World Cup and trying Chick-fil-A for the first time, are we? Oh my days.
Oh my days. Oh my days.
Amazing! Guys, I'm in America and I can't lie, I've been hearing about Waffle House.
This is fucking nuts. I gotta be, neither the Canadian nor the English brain can comprehend this at this moment in time. Wow. The sandwich was made by the Lord himself. Oh my God. This is amazing.
America, what have you guys done to me? I have become taco obsessed. Tacos. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm in IHOP and I've ordered the chicken waffle. I've never seen this before in my life. That's good chicken.
We're in the States for the World Cup, so we figured we might as well try some Raising Cane's, a couple Canadians. Oh, the sauce is really fucking good.
I'm trying KFC for the first time in America.
Oh!
Steak, hamburger, and Caesar salad. So good. A steak, and that Mexican?
Mexican.
Yeah, yes.
I'm currently in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm about to get Mexican food from a food truck.
Ah, you're lying.
Oh my days. Oh. Right, spicy pork taste test. Oh my God. That is insane.
What's the best American food? I'll go try it.
An authentic chorizo burrito.
Is that American?
No, but in California it is.
Okay.
First time Chipotle. This right here is a chicken queso burrito.
Oh, bollocks, that's good.